Hey, Bucs here. So today we got Theme Team updated rankings. Yes, it's time. I went back and collected the previous year's Theme Team rankings. Been doing this for a couple years. I don't remember if I did 19. I didn't have anything in my Google Drive, so if I did, it probably was on like a notepad on computers long forgotten. But we're gonna go through here. We're gonna go from the bottom. Now, these ones that you see right here, these were more done in like a tier ranking. So these aren't exactly like within the tiers, they aren't perfectly lined up. But these were generally what we saw earlier in the year. Raiders was great. Like we took like a few month break there, but Raiders in the middle here were like the number one theme team. Then right before like December 5th, I think Giants got a couple great cards, so they boosted just slightly up ahead. But the Raiders were it for most of the year. Even though it doesn't like reflect in this theme team chart, the Raiders were number one for a good portion of it. So Madden 21, what were the best Raiders? Or what were the best theme teams? Raiders, yes. Ravens, 49ers. You can see a pretty consistent pattern across the years of best theme teams as we've typed it out. Oh, these are the theme teams I actually did videos on, so it's a little bit of my own notes. But Chiefs with it starting off last year. Then we got Ravens, Raiders, Ravens again. Niners held pretty steady in the top three all year too. They were solid. Washington did well. Also, you saw a lot of people around them last year in 21. Patriots are always really nice here. Packers kind of got a late charge. Steelers started off, I think, low. They boosted up and then they went down. Oh yeah, they really collapsed by the end of the season in February. All right, and then Madden 20, we had 49ers, Ravens overtook them near April 29th. I think, do we have golden tickets by April 29th and 20? I think were they delayed in 20 or it was not? Yeah, 19 was the year we didn't get golden tickets. 20 we got them back. But there it is for the overall rankings, right? Consistent. It is kind of crazy how like these top four, we keep seeing them over and over. Steelers got up to 5. I think that might be their highest rankings on the theme team list that I've done. We ended up with 6th in April. But there you go, Madden 22. Let's go ahead and start it off with our current rankings. All right, so we're basically going to go through and show you on MUT.gg their theme teams, and let's start from the bottom, and I guess I could throw the tiers in with them. Number 32, it is the Houston Texans. They do have a trash team. It's basically, it's hard to give them upgrades because they don't get any team of the week, so they really haven't done that well this year as an overall franchise. This team, you guys can see it. Maybe I can we'll embiggen it right there. Not much on the line and not much at the skill position. I mean, they got like guys like in Madden 22, a lot of this game is based off height, right? If you throw a ball to a tall guy, a lot of times you can just kind of swerve, especially if you're throwing a corner, you can just swerve in front of the DB because there's no like two-man interactions. If you try and go for the pick, the DB is going to miss, and then you're just going to run for a touchdown. So Hopkins is nice. Fuller's really nice. Cooks is a little on the shorter side. Fells is a little right now. Their offensive line doesn't provide anything. Ed Reed is nice, but for some reason they got him twice on here. He's so nice they got him twice. Their corner situation is brutal, especially with Aaron Glenn being the height that he is. Reed should get an updated card. I don't know when that's happening, but this is my worst team in the theme teams. But overall, you see it still has quality cards. It's not as bad as some theme teams used to be. They definitely focused a lot more on theme teams lately and making them more balanced. It's definitely something you could tell that they are doing as a staff. The next up, the Browns, which belong in the toilet. But Cleveland here. I wonder if I can make this bigger for you guys. No, you guys could see. You guys can't really see much. Let's go ahead and shrink it. I think, yeah. Let's shrink it so you can see both all the offense at once, and then maybe I can like dish off right here. But let's go a little smaller. All right, you don't really need to see much. Yeah, there it is. Okay. I don't like Emmanuel Sanders as a wide receiver. Miles Austin isn't much better, but he is slightly better. I don't mind Miles Austin. He's just not like overly tall, so he's not like a meta receiver. The offense line is one of the best in the game. Definitely a lot of usable cards. Wyatt Teller, you can even move somewhere else. You can kick him out to tackle, like I know the Browns do IRL. Delpit, once he gets an upgraded card, he'll be incredible. He's tall. Jabril's a little short. I don't love him. He does have good attributes, though. Middle linebackers don't really matter. Edge rushers, you got McGinnis in the middle if you want. Ogba off the edge. If you could maybe throw in Carl. Carl Banks doesn't have good stats. Anyways, It's all right, I think. It's all right, but like nothing here really like screams like incredible card that I need to have on my roster. And really, when you're going with a theme team, you kind of want those guys that are going to stand out for you. And Cleveland doesn't really seem to have it. That's why they're in the F tier. Buffalo Bills are in my F tier, also for theme teams, and they are ranked where they are. These things, this is an actual sort of rank, whereas before they were more just like, you know, in tiers and it didn't really matter to the order. This I actually put them into a decent order. So let's go ahead and take a look at Buffalo Bob Bills. And we have Robert Woods, the new tight end released. He's fast. The problem with Robert Woods, of course, is only 6 foot tall. For tight ends, you know, you're going to be in a lot of traffic. You kind of do want a guy that's going to get a little bit of separation, and which he does. But you also want a guy that can maybe like catch in front of somebody and not get caught through. That is a big problem, especially with people running pick artists. I know it's become the meta. Pick artists will pick it through a lot, your players a lot better. And maybe that does neutralize some of the height. But really boxing out players is kind of important. They also got Spain there, Dawkins, and they got a backup guard. This is the Bills, right? Where is Teller? Teller must be the third right guard. So they got a solid offensive line once you spread them out for numbers. And a lot of people are going to ask me, what do you do with the quarterback situation? Now, my quarterback situation, like, this team, this offense, not great. Good. The receivers aren't super tall, but quarterback situation, this defenders, they have awful corners. Bruce Smith's kind of cool, though. So the defense is pretty trash. But the corner situation, the quarterback situation, what's going on with that? The issue with quarterbacks is like there is no reason to run a theme team quarterback. If you have a bad quarterback in a theme team, I didn't really pay attention to him because you can just run Dan Marino, and Dan Marino is still a very good quarterback. He gets every single theme team chem in the game, but there's no reason to run any single quarterback except for Derrick Henry right now. So even though like you're gonna see all these different quarterbacks, I kind of discount the position because even if you're running a theme team, I don't think like running Justin Herbert's cool, but why run Justin Herbert when Derrick Henry throws the ball as fast as this guy, yet has 120 speed at the escape artist? So that's the issue. It's like Herbert's cool, but I'm basically ignoring the quarterback position because, you know, a pure theme team, obviously it matters. And then we're kind of doing a little bit of the pure theme team, but we kind of got to make a concession to actually being like top end cards that you actually want to use. It's just the most powerful card of Madden 22 at the moment, right? We can always get something crazier with more abilities and stuff. The Chargers theme team, they did just get a nice tall receiver. Now he doesn't power up to 99 speed, which is unfortunate, but he is an overall solid card. That Lance Allworth means nothing because you get everybody's theme team. Derwin James is a very solid piece in the secondary. Phillips is okay. You got Chris Harris, Verrett. So they got some decent pieces there. Dwight Freeney off the edge. He's got surprisingly high block shed. So a top tier gem of a pass rusher along with some decent secondary pieces and receiving. Kind of like a boom and bust squad, right? They don't really have a whole lot like that's like super exciting outside of a few dominant pieces, which is why they are in the F tier for me. The next one up in the same F tier was Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengalis. Oop, that's the wrong one. I went back too far. Cincinnati Bengals. This squad is, you know, a little bit underrated. Cincinnati Bengals are not really a well-storied franchise for like 20 years, 92,000s, until like Carson Palmer. Until they've had the #1 overall draft pick for a quarterback, they're a trash organization. They can't win. They really have to get bailed out by the NFL draft in order to be anything. No, that's a little bit of AFC North rivalry talking. And I love you, Cincinnati, but, you know, don't deny me when it's true. All right, this offensive line is nice, right? I don't mind it at all. Tight end's kind of trash. Jamar Chase, he's cool, but he's only 6 foot tall. I always thought Jamar Chase was tall. I don't know why, but 6 feet tall. Boomer's okay, but again, Derrick Henry. So the offense is kind of mid. I'd say Taylor Mays goes on everybody's theme team anyways. Jesse Bates is a nice card. Reggie Nelson's okay, a little on the short side. Von Bell, not the tallest either. The corners aren't anything spectacular. Deltha O'Neal's, it's crazy, like, he's like the #1 corner. We're going to run into a team where he's like not even in the packages and like dime. That's how crazy more teams down this road is. So this is why this team hits the F tier for me and why Cincinnati Bengals are there. And the last team in the F tier is going to be the Jags. The ones that did not like the urban situation. They were more, they felt themselves more as, you know, men of the land, more farmer type. So they had to get rid of their urban atmosphere. They don't even have a freaking fullback on this theme team. But Jimmy Smith is okay. I don't mind Marvin Jones. I think he was on another team that I looked at. Was it just the one? I don't remember. Lawrence is solid, but again, the situation with the quarterbacks, James Robinson, a very nice halfback there. Then they have Griffin, Jalen Ramsey. Overall, like, maybe this one could have been rated a little bit lower too, because they don't have like the stud pieces, but they got a lot of decent like low 90s guys that will play overall on the squad. Tony Baselli, he goes on everybody's theme team if you want him. It's really like, these things are weird too, because like Taylor Mays and Baselli or Baselli, Taylor Mays or Baselli, Cam Chancellor goes on every squad. You have a team captain to pick one. So there's a lot of like things that are on this that you can get in your squad with your theme team, Chem, Dan Marino, like I said, Devin Hester, that don't show up in these depth charts. So it's really hard to rank them, because EA's kind of bastardized the whole theme team thing and basically made everybody a theme team player now. Taysom Hill is basically the best Saint that you're going to have outside of Ricky Williams. Like, you got some decent offensive weapons here on the Saints. Brandon Cooks is nice, but he's short. Like I said, I don't love him. You got some decent. Ramczyk needs an upgrade bad. I don't know why he's still only an 88. But Vilma's okay if you do need that inside stuff for 1 AP. Von Bell, like I talked about, all right. PJ Williams, too small, but he's free at level 50, so that's kind of cool. Decent, I guess, D lineman. Nothing, no speed though. Akeem Hicks isn't very fast. So that's your Saints. Overall, it's an okay lineup, but it doesn't offer anything that's like, right home to mama. No like super meta cards. Unless you could argue Ricky Williams is like the best running back in the game, so he's super meta. And I kind of glossed over him, the best running back in the game right now. At theme team, he's 99 speed with that strat card. Well, with all the strat cards on him. All right, what did I say the next one was? The Colts. The Colts. Having a good year. They are really. Even though they lost their entire offensive line, it seems like they're still like putting it together. Man, just think how many like yards Jonathan Taylor would have if he actually had like his offensive line healthy the whole time. And especially like Q. Lately, he's been gone. Ebron is your number one tight end. That's never a good sign. That guy sucks. Maybe you want to go Mackey just because get rid of Ebron and his curse. Peyton Manning, if you want to go with the pocket guy, like I said, it's still not even close to the power level of Derrick Henry. Jonathan Taylor having a great year, great card. Hilton a little short. Johnson's nice and tall, but he needs an upgrade. Reggie Wayne's a solid card. Defense, they have Ted Hendricks, and this Ted Hendricks card is the wildest defender in the game right now. Him and Isaiah Simmons, it's just insane. 6'7", 99 speed on this theme team. This Ted Hendricks is he's built differently. This card alone put him to this spot. If it weren't for Ted Hendricks on this squadron, they would be like, what, 6 spots slower? Like, this squad really doesn't have anything outside of that card, but that card is so dang powerful that why wouldn't you use it? That's the craziest thing. All right, number 24. We should probably speed up a little bit. Sorry for if the video drags on. I know I know places you guys gotta be. Gotta things to see, people to do, right? The life of us on the internet. Always having the sex, because we're totally cool like that. See all those sandy boobs. That's what they feel like, right? Bags of sands. That was terrible. But surprisingly, I was actually surprised that Kansas City was so low on this list. I was super surprised, right? But like, who do they have? They got a couple of corners, but they're short, right? They got actually like, 5 really like well overall corners, but they kind of like offer you scheme disadvantages because you can get dunked on by the Keyshawn Plaxicos, Marshalls of the world. But like in an offense, they got like Emmanuel Sanders as their number 2. Like, Chiefs are bad, but at least they offer like a solid selection at every single position. They don't offer meta cards. Like, Colts offered like a one meta super card and like some other solid pieces. Chiefs is just solid across the board. So they both ended up in D tier because they were lacking like a combination of the both, which you really need to be a good, solid theme team. All right, next up is it's by P's, Panthers. Panthers are next on the list. What are you showing? Show us what you got. All right? Show us what you got. Go Carolina. Great receiver. I love their 2 wide receivers. McCaffrey's all right now. Cam Newton, he's fine, but you really wanted it a little higher overall to get those pass lead or gunslingers like you have on Kyler or Derrick Henry. Chin, when he gets an upgrade, will be better. He's not bad, actually. He's not terrible at his current level. 91, maybe a little long in the tooth. That was the most feared card, if I recall correctly. Luke's okay. If you can use your Luke, go ahead with Lurker. JC Horn was good when he came out. I think there's so many guys that matched his power level now. He's no longer that #1 corner in the game. But overall, they got some decent pass rushers too. Reggie White should get an upgraded card soon. Like, I think this is like a team I like, not love, right? Like a lot of decent pieces. Like the great receivers kind of like really put me out of the squad. They only got like Marshawn Lynch as fullback because he has every fullback chem. These two cards are basically everything in the team. And that's why they are D tier instead of F tier. Because they're big, tall, fast wide receivers. All right, next up will be the Bears. The Bears at 22. Why are the Bears there? Basically, some decent pieces, but not enough of their overall team legends have gotten the game. It's not like, you know, some others. Like, I'm salty the Steelers don't have more legends. Like, the Bears are missing a lot of good ones. Fields is all right. They just got Walter Payton, so they just got a guy that's up there with one of the best running backs in the game. Patterson, like I said, I think Ricky's better than Walter, but Walter's pretty darn close, especially for a receiving back. He gets that backfield match for 1 AP. Cordarrelle before that's actually a pretty decent card because he's kind of heavy. Marshall is tall and fast. Hester's just fast. Allen Robinson's all right. Graham's not that great at tight end, so you'd want to probably like sub in somebody else there with a little bit more speed. They do have decent linebackers. They got decent pass rushers, D linemen. That's great and all, but we really need a little bit more to the secondary here. Cordarrelle Patterson is actually like super awesome and an incredible card. But like the rest of it, Eddie Jackson's okay. Amos Roll kind of needs upgrades here to the secondary. So Bears not good enough, but you know, with those subs, right, with the theme teams, with only using 50-50, these teams are mega powerful. That Bears team's got some powerful cards on it. And if you're running a Bears team 50 out of 50, you make the subs at the right spots, you've got yourself a very competitive roster. All right, Titans. Now, the Titans have the best quarterback in the game. And like I said, I kind of didn't include quarterbacks in this thing because there's no reason for you not to use Derrick Henry right now in the game, for how powerful he is. Just like abandon your theme team quarterback. I don't care who you have. You had to get this Derrick Henry card. Hopefully you bought it for around 300K that he was going for when he was in packs. I think he's up a little bit right now, obviously, since he's out of packs. And the best quarterback in the game. Their offensive line is great. Bruce Matthews should probably be getting an upgrade. But he's back up at like every position. Andre Johnson needs an upgrade. Moss is still solid. A little long in the tooth. Not as like, you know, he's not Megatron now. He's just, you know, long tooth Moss. Little like late career Moss. A little slow. Their defense is bordering on below average. Not a whole lot of meta standout cards here. Kind of just like solid pieces across the board, but not pieces that I really want to see in my field versus like the tall wide receivers that you run into almost every single game. So I like the offense. I really like this. Derrick Henry alone brought him here, but like in the end, can I give him that much credit for just Derrick Henry that every single team's going to be using anyways? No matter what your theme team is, I don't know. So I gave him D tier. Like if I didn't include quarterbacks, if I said only Titans get to use him and everybody else has to use the other crap, Titans probably would have moved up 10 spots. That's how powerful and how important the quarterback position is in this game. But I guess decisions needed to be made, and that's the decision I made when ranking these theme teams. So anyways, Eagles is up next. I think you guys saw there the number 20 squadron. Charlie Young at tight end is pretty solid. Like I said, a good offensive line here. High 80s, 194. I don't know if you guys are okay with high 80s, but it's good enough. Generally, like I use higher overall cards because I got enough to get 50 out of 50. But 80, like, dude, I've had like 84, 86 overall guards, and they've played perfectly fine for me. I've mostly passed the ball, but tackles I think like do get like even my 95 tackles get abused from time to time. Miles Austin, Smith, Deshaun Jackson, pretty poor receivers. They got a cool, thick fullback, though, and a thick halfback. These are great guys to run with. They also have Michael Vick, halfback, who just came out. I think he's 98 speed on the theme team. One of those two numbers. Very fast. So you got kind of like a thunder and lightning situation there with Blunt and Vick. Vick just has low carrying, so watch yourself. Slade just came out, and you know, I think he gets 98 speed powered up with a theme team stuff. That's not bad. Is it 98 or 99 with a strat card? I don't know, but Dawkins is phenomenal. So they got some really nice standout cards on defense. Seth Joyner's not that good, though. He's their highest overall. When Reggie White gets upgraded, obviously they'll get another pass rush presence, which should help out their theme team, obviously. The last one of the D tier will be Mr. Miami Dolphins. I don't know why I said Mr. Miami. I think it's just because it's alliterated. And I just like words that come off my lips kind of back to back with a similar sound. Where are those Dolphins at? Those slippery sons of guns. I'm not going to go into Dolphins facts. Dolphins facts, don't ever look up Dolphins facts. They're like oddly terrifying. All right, Dolphins. Love this. Love the wide receiver core here. Absolutely gorgeous, right? Devontae Parker, he's 6'3", beautiful, right? That is awesome height. Will Fuller himself, 6 foot flat, but if you get him with all the stats upgraded, he gets up to 98 speed on the theme team. Absolutely genius. Gesicki's not that great. The offensive line has a couple holes to patch, but overall pretty solid. Zonka is one of the better fullbacks in the game. You got Marino. Everybody's got Marino, so that's not really special. Best running back in the game on your theme team. 2, your DBs, you got Minka, and this is kind of where your team loses it, right? If your team had better secondary pieces and like maybe a top-end pass rusher outside of Jason Taylor, like, you got a lot of solid guys here. I would say, like, Porter's okay. He's been out for like what, 4 months, I think, or something. It's been around 4 months, I feel like, since Porter came out. But your secondary pieces are a little weak outside of Minka. So that's kind of why you got to D tier. I actually wouldn't mind if I put this team into C tier. I think I'm actually going to move it up. I think that's I think it's enough separated because of their offensive weapons. I think I'm promoting them. They're not going to change in the rankings, but they are going to go to C tier. So they'll be my first C tier team because I do feel like there's a little bit of break between these two teams, and Dolphins kind of kicked it up a notch with those receivers being as glitchy as they are. Especially if you take care of the secondary problems, but just subbing in like Isaiah Simmons, Cam Chancellor, Mays. All right, number 18 of the C tier is Pittsburgh Steelers. So my squadron, my favorite team in the NFL and in all of sports. I don't know. Do I like them better than the Penguins and Pirates? I don't know. That'd be a question I never thought of. Anyways, Ebron is your one tight end, is brutal. Their offensive line is okay. You got a hole here. So 2 holes you got to fill. You can move Faneca out to tackle. So really only 1 hole. Hopefully DeCastro gets an update card. I don't know if he is because he's kind of retired. Franco Harris, fullback. One of the better fullbacks in the game. Great spread of stats on him. He's just a little light. He's not as thick as some of the other fullbacks out there. Lynn Swan is short. Antonio Brown is short. Sanders short. Plax is tall. Plax is great. Plax on a Steelers theme team is an absolute gem of a wide receiver. They got the thickness, they got the thunder and lightning action that we saw also on Philadelphia. Najee for S's and G's. That's shits and giggles for all you ones that don't know abbreviations. But their defense, again, they're played by kind of guys that are short and just bad, right? Hayden's bad, Sutton's bad, and those are the guys you need to rely on your defense. Steven Nelson, he actually played okay for me. I don't love his height. I think he's 5'11". But whenever they threw at him, I think he got thrown up. It was three or 4 times where he got thrown up one-on-one. I think he picked them all against taller receivers. He has pick artists. I put pick artists. I don't want to use them, but that was kind of strange. Palomalu's really short, so like this game is so built on height. He just doesn't jump as tall. Maybe I need lurker on him to get extra jump at the safety position, but they generally jump. Maybe they just jump higher. Watt, they absolutely disrespected, only giving him a 93. So overall, like, it's weird that the Steelers defense is kind of like the letdown of the ball. Obviously the tight end sucks, but having Plaxico, LeGarrette, Vic, yeah, it's still nice. Even though you got short receivers, you can just run them on drag routes. They're not great for sideline catches, but otherwise it's close to being much better. It needs, like, Rod Woodson, Mel Blunt, maybe a couple safeties, a Carnell Lake, Dree Archer, where is he? And then like another tall receiver to be really meta. But Megatron goes on everybody's squad. So do you need receivers if you got a 98, 6'5" guy on everybody's team? Los Angeles Rams is the next one at C tier. I know Los Angeles Rams is one of the higher rated, like 92 rated, but like they're just not that good. They're good, but they're not like, they're rated higher than a lot of the squads, but I don't know, maybe it's due to the offensive line being like in the low 90s. I guess we got an 82 right here. You can move Incognito over, but we got 2 good tight ends. So if you're doing an A-slot offset scheme, maybe not a bad team to look at. Cooper Kupp, one of the best receivers in the NFL, like setting records basically. Not really getting the high card. Other couple cards that are decent. Obviously, you can't run Robert Woods and Robert Woods at the 2 different positions. Odell is okay, especially if you like throw him on like at wide receiver, and then you can audible down the I form if you're facing a guy in like dollar. So it's a really nice way of getting into the weak box themselves. Their defense, a lot of mid cards, right? Donald's obviously an animal. Talib's great, but like everything else, it's just very like mid, and it doesn't feel great. Which is like their defense really holds them back from a higher up spot on this list. So that's why they're 17. They're close to greatness though. A lot of teams from here on up are very close to greatness. See, they're kind of missing a few pieces to really get into that top tier club. Minnesota Vikings, like it really only takes like one weekend. Like these teams are so close to each other. One weekend, if Vikings get 2 different legends that go on their theme team this weekend, they instantly go into like the top 5, right? That's how close a lot of these teams are. Randy Moss, like he's still solid. Adrian Peterson, one of the better halfbacks in the game. Their offensive line's got some decent pieces on it, and definitely one that's going to block for you for a distance. Obviously, you'll want a different center in there, get somebody better. Rudolph a little slow. The defense itself, though, Harrison Smith, solid. Cordell Patterson is great. Patrick Peterson, great. He actually played incredible for me. 6'1", but he is so good. I might actually go back to him instead of Richard Sherman. I'm currently unsure what I want to do with Pat Pete. He's just sitting in my binder right now, chilling. But anyways, they got a good pass rusher. Barr is kind of like in a weird spot in Madden. He used to be so glitchy, but then they killed linebackers. Daniel Hunter is really nice too. So overall, a pretty solid defense with some superstars like Patterson and Peterson. And then on offense, they got some really nice pieces too with Moss and Adrian Peterson, along with some solid pieces. So that's why they are right there at 16. Number 15, we have the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, what can be said about them that isn't summed up in an ugly score in the Super Bowl? And that score is me doing your mom during halftime. Anyways, Kyle Pitts right there, best tight end in the game with those boosts. I actually arguably with Vernon Davis right there, best tight ends in the game. Taysom's got to get a shot at it also. There's a lot of decent tight ends, but I'll take Kyle Pitts number 1. He's tall. He's got a really nice spin. Vic's a good quarterback, but of course, why use Vic when Derrick Henry's in the game? Vic at halfbacks fast. Patterson, underrated running back still. Dion is 99 speed on the theme team. So 2 99 speed guys here on the theme team. Devin Hester goes on everybody's theme team, so that doesn't really count that much. Right here, Patterson really solves the defense. Like, you really kind of want playmakers on these theme teams to get really boosted. And Patterson and Dion getting those boosts, kind of nice. Terrell's also really fast. You got Freeney as a really solid pass rusher. So overall, the basis and the chance of a great defense and great offensive pieces, both superstars, right? Superstars and some decent overall cards to round out the depth of the Falcons. So number 14, this is kind of weird. Detroit Lions. You want to know literally the only reason Detroit Lions are this high? It's Megatron. Megatron on offense and defense completely changes this entire theme team. It's incredible how much like one guy, best receiver in the game, turns this like, obviously Peterson's great too, don't get me wrong. Ebron, like I said, is fucking trash. Their offensive line's actually really respectable, right? Like you could definitely use all these guys. The Detroit Lions offensive line's great. Like I was actually surprised with how good the Lions theme team ended up being. Roy Williams could use an upgrade that helps, obviously the Cowboys too, but it helped them tremendously get a receiver, another big one too. Galladay upgrade, a huge receiver. Think of those guys upgraded. Lions might be the move. And then defense, again, they have this Megatron card, which on the theme team is even crazier. It's just insane. And then they got Darius Slay, the new card too, so he'll play well. Darius Slay card is always going to play well. Again, another great Freeney. Like I said, he's got incredible attributes. Haloti, they can put Haloti. This guy is just thick as heck at strong safety, out of position. Gets the 94 speed, I do believe. Walker can run around places. Then Broderick Thomas or Broderick Thomas, whatever you want to say. There is the Lions theme team. Very surprised, but the reason they're in C tier is just due to Megatron. If it weren't for Megatron, they'd be 10 to 15 places lower on this list. They may be one of the bottom feeders if it weren't for that guy. Absolutely stunning out. All right, number 13 will be the Washington football. Like if you go a 50-50 team and you just take care of the Lions' weaknesses, absolutely a great team to run with, it feels like. Washington football team. All right. Let's run their lineup. Washington, not a huge fan of them. Not a big fan of their owner. I don't know. Maybe they'll come out in my review of the theme team, but we'll try and stay fair and balanced like other Fox is that give news. Vernon Davis, Trent Williams. Yeah, Vernon being tied for or up there with the best tight end in the game. Terry is good. He's not glitchy. Like I think was it Madden 20 or 21 that he had a really super glitchy card. I think it was 20. Peterson, one of the best running backs. Dion, 99 speed. What else can you say about it? They got Sean Taylor, who always plays glitchy. They got Dion, who's always nice. I don't think he's glitchy this year. I wanted a little bit more press, I guess, if you run a man press scheme. He's got like really bad press. Otherwise, I want a little bit more speed. He only gets a 98 speed instead of 99. I don't know. He doesn't have height. I don't know. Dion doesn't really stand out this year. He doesn't play like Dion like he has in past years. Bruce Smith, Jay Steelers, great defensive line. Like their defensive line should have been this year, IRL. Kendall Fuller's okay. So overall, like they got some superstars. They got some really decent pieces, depth across the board. And it's enough to give me them at number 13. It's just like a beautiful, beautiful piece. Green Bay Packers come in at number 12, in my opinion. Obviously, if you guys have different opinions than me, let me know in the comments below. Did I do a rock bottom ad? I don't know. It's really late at night. I'm not sure if I did a rock bottom ad. If you guys are looking for coins, go to rockbottomcoins.com. Use code GutFox for 15% off right now. Devontae Adams, for someone around his height, is probably the best receiver in the game. This guy's just sick. I was surprised with how much I like this card. Like I like tall guys, but Devontae Adams made it work, even though he's only 6'1". Yeah, 6'1" for Devontae, but he made it work. The thing is, they got nothing else at receiver, right? Jermichael Finley, one of the better tight ends in the game. They got like a bunch of different solid guards. You can kick one to like right tackle, maybe move Van Rotten or something out there. Rodgers, his card sucks, but you use Derrick Henry. This is like again, just like the Colts. Ted Hendricks completely makes this defense. 6'7", this speed. They also have Woodson and Jair. Obviously, Savage is good, a little short. Their pass rushers, Reggie White needs an upgraded card. KGB's okay. So a solid, okay defense with some really nice pieces surrounded by this superstar. Absolutely 99 speed stud. And then the offense, again, having that studly wide receiver and a good tight end. Brings them up to number 12 for me. All right, number 11 will be... I was surprised that I got him down at 11. Ravens feel like better than this. I think it just goes to show you how many good theme teams are out there. I really thought Ravens were going to be like a top 5 squad when I started this off. And they're still not bad. They're just missing a couple receivers. Like I wanted a little bit taller receivers. Like Devin Hester goes on everybody's squad, so he's kind of a wash between everything. Dion goes on a bunch of squads we've seen. Ricky Williams is the best running back in the game, so they got that, right? Juszczyk's a great fullback to lead block. Quarterback, just use Derrick Henry. Ed Reed's a little short. Dion's fine. I said my issue with him. Marlon's only 6 foot. Marcus Peters a little slow. Judon, it's a glitch with Judon right now where you can use his 93-94 power up pass on his 95. So if you want that, I did that today. People on the stream told me that, and it was huge. And I saw it on Reddit, so the word is spreading, I guess. But they got an overall good defense, but it doesn't have a superstar. You know what I mean? It doesn't have that Ted Hendricks. It's got Haloti. It's really got a thickness. But like in previous years, this guy would be the superstar. He just ain't it in 22. And a little disappointed, but I'm glad that it's not like the same cards every year on the same hand. So overall, like just great cards in every position, but it doesn't have the star power to be higher up on this list. Arizona Cardinals number 10. Now, we haven't talked about Kyler at all, right? I said use Derrick Henry because he's the best. And it's true. Kyler only gets set feet lead. He doesn't get gunslinger. When you power him up, he gets set feet lead. You got to power him up, sadly, to get that 96 overall set feet lead. Once you do, though, he's great. I think like set feet lead is just barely worse than gunslinger. He also doesn't have the best throw motion like Henry has. But anyways, the receivers, like great quarterback running back situation right there. You got Edmonds backing him up if you need a little spelling action. Offensive line is really nice. I think the best offensive line we've seen so far. Look at that. Across the board studs. Okay? Great quarterback running back situation. Defense, and then they have a superstar. Isaiah Simmons is an absolute superstar. Now he's super fast. With the strat cards, he gets 99 speed. Even with without the Frost strat card on this team, he'll still be 99 speed. It's just a lot of guys get him a lot of teams have him at 98 speed now with the strat card. So once that goes away in a little bit, Isaiah Simmons will be even more powerful on the Cardinals theme team versus everybody else's theme team. But anyways, then they got Pat Pete, who's a great corner too. They got a pass rusher. They got another interior pass rusher, which is great. Seth Joyner's got pretty bad stats when you use him. I don't think Wilbur was very good, if I recall correctly. I've kind of like not loved it. Speed is decent. Yeah, I guess he's got power move, block shed. He's okay. I think I was just looking for more when I saw a 96 overall card initially, but I think he's a very solid card. Basically, looking at that, the power move you'd wish with power and finesse you'd wish were higher, but he's a flexible outside linebacker due to his. Let me go to max stats. Oh, that was max stats. Wait, is that max stats? There it is. Due to his wait, his zone coverage is only 81. Oh, I thought that was gonna be higher. My bad. Yeah, he's okay at pass rushing. Great block shedder though. Anyways, defense is solid. On to the number 9 team on the list is the New York Giants. Now, the New York Giants, as you recall, in the previous list, was the number 1 squad very early, and then it was obviously the Raiders for a while. These kind of were all in the same tier. And then they took the number 1 squad for a little bit there in early December. But now, like, man, it's been crazy how much it's ripped around in the game. So the Giants, take a look at them, have kind of fallen off the cliff. They really haven't gotten a whole lot of content during the winter promo, which kind of took them to their current spot for where they are rated. But they still have Evan Ingram, one of the best tight ends in the game. Plaxico, phenomenal. Brandon Marshall, phenomenal, dude. They got crazy guys. Daniel Jones is actually one of the best receivers in the game. On the theme team, this guy's still wild. You can't forget about him. Still great. I don't know if you consider like running backs. Obviously, you can just get other running backs. Odell's okay, I think. Some people really seem to like him. He's got a really nice ability mix for cheap, so not bad to grab him. You know, it's only 2 ornaments for your theme team if you decide to go to the Giants. Zonka's a good one. Offensive line, you know, 80s, 90s is a good offensive line. I don't mind that at all. The problem with this is that they're kind of like short, right? Like the secondary, it's a little on the short side. Walls is solid, I think, but the rest of their cards, Jabril Peppers played terrible for me. I used him for a while, did not like him at all. Lawrence Taylor and JPP are solid pieces off the edge. The interior guys are okay too, I think. So overall, like, they're still top 10, right? They're still incredible, and you're gonna see with the other teams coming up, the next level. And I might even make these guys, like, I might move up level. It's still a good team, right? Just due to the wide receivers. Yeah, wild. They really haven't gotten a lot of upgrades lately. All right, the number 8 team and the first team in our A tier list. So that's the wrong one. A tier list will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's kind of small. Is it that small the whole time? That's what she said. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers here, 93 overall on the list, but we actually have them kind of low. We don't have them that high. Like 93s would put them as one of the top, 2 or 3 squads in the game. But they got Rob Gronkowski, who's a great card. Brown is kind of short, like I talked about when we talk about the Steelers. Godwin, same way. What was Godwin's height again? He's 6'1", so he's actually a little bit taller than I thought. I thought for some reason it was like 6'5'11", but a solid card with the 6'1". Keyshawn's tall. Keyshawn's great. I love this Keyshawn card. Blunt and Vea, 2 big, thick dudes. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful theme team shenanigans going on with those two. Just, you know, run 3 yards in a cloud of dust, consistently falling forward. John Lynch is actually really nice in the theme team. I think he has a 98 or 99 speed on the theme team. Revis is short. Talib's not bad. Sherman is tall. I go Talib and Sherman on the outside. Maybe you could put Revis at nickel, or you could just sub in one of the many safeties that are on everybody's teams, Cam, Mays, or just Isaiah Simmons, non-theme team style. But overall, like, their pass rush, the 93s, Jason Pierre-Paul's solid, Broderick Thomas is solid. So they got a very, like, you know, quality defense and a good offense, I'd say. And I don't know why I only have them at 8, but God, it feels like this would be like a top 3 team, doesn't it? That's how crazy these theme teams are. It really does feel like a top 3 team when you look at it across the board. Man, they've gotten so many cards. They've gotten so many good cards too on the Buck theme. They just keep getting new ones over and over. A lot of us are like, come on, can we get one of them? And Buccaneers get like 2 cards every single one of ours for a lot of our theme teams, or at least maybe it's not that bad, but it feels that way sometimes. The every promo love that some theme teams have gotten this year. The number 7 is the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots beat out the Buccaneers because they're basically the same team, right? The same team. It's different quarterbacks, I guess, but the same quarterbacks. There's Brady, but every team's got the same quarterback because you're running, like I'm going to say again, Henry. They got Gronk on both teams. Great. Antonio Brown, both teams. Randy Moss on this team. They got Cooks, which I don't know if I love Cooks. A little short, but who else are you going to run here? LeGarrette Blount, they got the thickness. They got Cam Newton here, or Tom, or the real one that you want to run. Their offensive line is solid across the board. Actually, one of the better ones, 93, 96, 95, 91. And maybe you can get like another center there. And then there's secondary. Both of them have Talib, Ty Law. Revis is on both squads. Tampa Bay is basically New England South. Seymour is great on this squad. Their pass rush is phenomenal. Adrian Phillips is okay, I think. Rodney Harrison's a little long in the tooth, a little old of a card. So he's not great. So, yeah, that's why Tampa Bay got beat, because basically Tampa Bay North beat them out with a lot of the same pieces, but slightly better, I think, offensive line and a couple extra guys that maybe Tampa didn't have. So that's why New England got number 7 above Tampa number 8. But they're both in my A-tier ranking. And one more A-tier ranking, San Francisco. Actually, there'll be 2 more. There's one after this. San Francisco got 6. This was a tough call between this San Francisco and the 2 teams that kind of paired up, the Raiders and the 49ers, because they say there's so many cards that kind of cross over between the two. So look at them. Las Vegas, the Raiders are number 5. Look at that. I said Las Vegas. Look at that. Look at me remembering they're no longer in Oakland. The boomer is finally learning. All right, so we look at the differences, right? If you want 49ers, you're getting a top-tier tight end. You're upgrading for the best. Waller's a little long in the tooth. He's a little old of a card now. He'll get an upgrade soon-ish, probably. They love giving Darren Waller cards. Vernon Davis, incredible, right? Offensive lines. You know, you got Hudson and Parker are hardly nowhere, and then a bunch of like low to high 80s. This one has Williams, Allen, Leonard, McGlinchey, Mack. So the offensive line and tight end go to San Francisco, okay? Now here at these positions, Deion Sanders, Debo, Randy Moss. Randy Moss, again, is on both squads. So that one kind of crosses off. Cliff Branch is 99 speed, so him and Deion Sanders kind of cross off because they basically offer the same opportunity. Debo and Hunter, we'll cross them off too. So these pieces are pretty similar. Running back situation. They got Bo Jackson and his overpowered Bo nose, but you don't see a lot of people running anymore because Derrick Henry came out. Cordell Patterson, Roger Craig at running back for both squads. So that really doesn't change either. Defense. Defense is where I feel like it kind of shifts into the Raiders' favor. This card alone. Well, this card and this card. Both of them, because of how, I would say, affordable and how good his one-step acro. They said it has human joystick. Human joystick. That doesn't work on next gen, sadly. Current gen, people are saying it like gets deactivated sometimes. But anyways, Hendricks alone tilts the favor on the defense to the Raiders, right? The other outside, right? We'll say Sherman and Sanders. We'll give them basically, because of his cheap AP. They also, for some reason, I don't know where Bo Jackson's cornerback card is. Bo Jackson's cornerback card should be somewhere on this list, but I don't see it. Because that's a thing too. I don't know why we wouldn't put Bo Jackson here, because he's great too with his ability points. So yeah, Mutt.gg is missing something. So like the cornerback situation, even though like Deion and Sherman are great and higher overalls, I almost want to give it a wash due to the AP cheapness of this card and his ability to play a great slot, right? 6'2". Wash him with Sherman. Might be even slightly better than Sherman. But we'll say we'll wash him with Sherman. Deion, Charles. Maybe Deion gets the slide over Charles right now because he's a couple speed faster. But like the pass rush, pretty similar. Maybe you take, I don't know, Seymour and Mack. Those are like 2 of the best of their positions. Ford's okay. Dumerville's solid. Bosa's solid. I don't know. Pass rush pretty similar. And I think like, you know, Ronnie Lott is not good right now. He's too old. I mean, he's fine. He's just a little old of a card. The safeties alone. Ted Hendricks. I mean, they got Nelson back here. But I can just both teams have Ronnie Lott. Taylor Mays goes on both teams too. I think Ted Hendricks pushes the Raiders over the Niners for that purpose. Man, that was a really hard decision, though. I actually took a few minutes. That one took me a while. Just like this video took a while to describe. Number 4 is the New York Jets. Still crazy. You don't see a lot of people talk about the Jets anymore. Maybe because they haven't gotten a whole lot of upgrades lately, but they're still as phenomenal as they were just like a few weeks ago when they were like everybody's theme team for a little bit. But Robbie, Brandon, Keyshawn, tall, fast, and Plaxico, right? 4, Like if you run spread or something, this is like the perfect team. Then you got Vic, the new card. Tebow, if you want to use him over Derrick Henry. He's left-handed Derrick Henry. He's as good as Derrick Henry, but he's a little bit worse because left-handers, there's a little bit of a hitch step, escape artisting right. So it's just an FYI. It's just a little bit lower, but otherwise he's the same. A little bit throw motion. Some people don't like it as much on Tebow as Derrick, obviously. Defense, Ronnie Lott's there. Jamal Adams, Marcus May. They got Revis Law. They got basically everything across the board on defense. Every position's filled with a very nice card. Some short dudes that you maybe want to not play in very pivotal positions. Put pick artists on them and they'll play a lot better. But really, the reason they're this high are these receiving weapons, which are just insane in my opinion. And then obviously this really helps. I mean, their entire team helps, right? Offensive line is great. Probably want to move Faneca out to left tackle since he's left tackle secondary. Yeah, so overall, Jets still are singing the high tune of beauty like Benny and the Jets. Dallas Cowboys at number 3. Cowboys, them boys, the number 3 theme team in the game right now. Where I keep missing them. There they are. So the Cowboys, what is so good about them? The same thing was like, right? You need meta cards. You need cards at almost every single position that are great. Their offensive line across the board is very nice. Expensive. You got to use like a power pass on this guy, really. Dalton Schultz is all right. I don't know. I wouldn't really start him or play him. Then they got speed on the outside. Plus, like, Irvin he just catches the ball really well. He's a lot like Devontae Adams, right? Especially on the Cowboys theme team, he's great. I ended up using CeeDee Lamb over him, right? Keyshawn's there too. If you want somebody taller, you can use always the Megatron. But overall, the receivers are stacked. The only downside is like Ezekiel Elliott hasn't really got an upgrade since his free card for the Forge. Tavon's okay, but I would pass on him. Tony Romo's nice if you'd rather have Hot Route Master than anything else. Their defense though, Keanu Neal's not great, but they do have great cornerbacks. Renfro's very nice. Deion, we've seen a lot of teams talked about him quite a bit. Their pass rush, Micah Parsons is incredible. Probably the best linebacker in the game right now. I love this guard. Love how fast and flexible he is. DeMarcus Ware, same way. Like, the stats on this guy are absurd. Like, 95s across the board on all relevant stats for a defensive lineman. And then he's fast on top of it, too. So, their pass rush is wild. They got nothing but speed there. They then have DBs that can hunt the ball. Obviously, you sub in safety there with Cam Chancellor. We've talked about Mays, etc., etc. So, studs and meta cards on the team across the board. It's really nice, right? Maybe a tight end away from being number 1. All right, number 2 though. Who is number 2? Now this, I don't know. I might. It's gonna be a hard one. They might be worse than the Jets. I might need to move them down a couple spots, but let's take a look at the Seahawks first and why I put them where they're at right now over the Cowboys, who frankly had an insane roster right there. Let's take a look at the Seahawks. Number 2 on the theme team ranking. Charlie Young, good tight end right there. Their offensive line is actually better than Russell Wilson's ever seen before in his life. They got Walter Jones, Kevin White, maybe some guys that you want to have replacements for, especially Gabe Jackson, not that great. But anyways, they have Brandon Marshall. They got Metcalf, if you'd rather go him. They got 9-speed Hester. We've seen that a lot. I mean, he goes on every single team. But they got height. They got speed. Baldwin's okay. They got one of the best fullbacks in the game, if not the best, depending on what you want to do with them. They got one of the best running backs in the game. He's right up there with, was it Walter and... I mean, Adrian Peterson always runs really well. Right up there with Walter and Ricky Williams for there. I still think Ricky Williams is the best, but Adrian Peterson is not far behind. Cam Chancellor goes in every single theme team, but he's on this theme team too. DK Metcalf 6'3", Richard Sherman 6'3", glorious outside 6'3" corners, along with solid corners. I would not start Quandre Diggs at all. Do not have this guy on your field. He's too short for this game. Bobby Wagner, if you do want to use a middle linebacker at user, Bobby Wagner is about as good as you can get at that position. Their pass rush with Dwight Freeney is solid. They got Dunlap. I'd probably just go ahead and grab a different pass rushers, maybe grab whatever like best pass rusher is out there available and just use him in your nickel package, in your sub packages, to rush it. But otherwise, they have absolute superstars and very solid players at most all positions. But the superstars is what sells me on this roster, right? The height, the beauty, the outside corners being 6'3", glorious, plus hit power. The only downside of them is they're not really agile. So that's the only downside of those corners, of the Metcalf and Sherman, tall dudes. All right, number 1, I don't even know if it's close. The Denver Broncos. I feel like after reviewing this team again, it's just crazy. Tim Tebow, like if you want to run a theme guy, Tim Tebow's incredible, right? Even if you're counting the quarterbacks, like he's like 1B behind Henry. He's just a lefty Henry. They got Willis McGahee. You could argue the running backs, you don't have an Adrian Peterson or one of those top guys there, but it's pretty not bad. They got tall dudes, right? Tim Patrick's surprisingly tall. Jerry Jeudy runs really nice routes. Brandon Marshall's tall, fast. Their offensive line, okay. All right. That's a hole. They're not perfect. He's not perfect either. But then you look at their defense. John Lynch is crazy. Brian Dawkins is awesome. They got Simmons the backup. They got Law, Harris, Surtain. I would actually start Surtain. You guys know how pissed I was at Surtain. But on Broncos team at 6'2", he's probably much more insane than he was for me. Deltha O'Neal, who would be like the number 1 corner on a lot of theme teams, or a few theme teams, right? Including my own. I think we saw him as the number 1 in Jacksonville. He's the number 5 and not even going to touch the field on this theme team. That's how crazy it is, right? That's how absolutely bonkers. And they go ahead and got DeMarcus Ware. Where's Von Miller? I don't know. Doomerville here too. They got great pass rushes to go along with it. Yeah, Broncos theme team, in my opinion, is definitely the best theme team in the game. They're even like S+ tier. So like Broncos theme team, that's what we're gonna do. It Broncos, they're S+, number 1. It's wild. They've absolutely blessed the Broncos theme team for some weird reason. I think it's Fred Zilla personally. A lot of below the belt handshakes given out to the Mutt team from him to get them up there. But that's it for the rankings. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please please subscribe. We're going for 100,000 subs this year. I don't know if we're gonna make it. Hopefully we'll make it. But guess what? We're all gonna make it. See you tomorrow.